All right.
Welcome to the
Welcome back to the Lousy Show. I'm Joe.
I'm Sam.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either. I was thirsty, and then like the roof of my mouth needed some water.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't
We'll
think
go with
about if you don't think about it, it makes sense.
Yes. That's how we're gonna have to approach a lot of what we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Is if you don't think about it, it might make sense because for the first time, I have control of the command center.
I feel like I'm in the passenger seat about to watch you fly over a cliff.
Yes, this is gonna be me. This is gonna be me on Rust with a minicopter. First time. But today, you might have clicked on this because you noticed that the thumbnail probably has some sort of Reddit attachment to it. That is because for the very first time, the Lousy Show will be reading "Am I the Asshole" segments and discussing them.
Yes. The finest bit of the internet met with the finest podcast online to the most luxurious podcast ever known. Except none of that is true.
Yeah, we're the number one podcast in the world, except not really. But make us that way. So hit the subscribe button. Or if you're listening on these sites, follow us. And then download the episodes. It helps.
Yep.
Yeah, so. But, make no mistake, we are ready. We have three segments, or three stories that we're going to read. We're going to jump into them and discuss them. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to read them out, okay? Because they are, am I the asshole? So we're going to determine, is the person, is the poster an asshole or not? Is everybody an asshole or is nobody an asshole? Okay. So there's like parties involved. It might be everyone's the asshole in this whole situation, or the poster might be an asshole, or no one is. We're going to do that. And we're going to say why.
Yeah, 100%.
Because what kind of podcast would we be if we were just like,
We just read it.
Nope.
Yeah, they're an asshole. Next.
Yeah, right.
Although that would be on brand.
Honestly, yeah, it would be. So we are going to start with, we found three. They are all listed today. So by the time that you see this, it's going to be, a couple weeks ahead.
A couple weeks from now, yeah.
But if you do like this kind of content, make sure to let us know down in the comments below if you want to see more Reddit Am I the Asshole segments out of the Lousy Show. I love doing these, just reading these in general. So hopefully you all enjoy what we're about to provide you. Let's dive into the very first one today. Sam, am I the asshole for not telling my wife just how much my late wife left our children?
Ooh. Heavy.
Already.
Right out the gate.
Already.
Yikes. Okay.
I was married to Sammy for 8 years, and we had two children together. Delaney, now 18, female, and Finn, now 17, male. Sammy had been born with a serious heart defect that was left undiagnosed for many years. It was during her pregnancy with our daughter where she learned about this, though some health issues over her life had been a sign that was ignored by doctors. During her pregnancy with our son, she went into total heart failure, and between one thing or another, she realized she would not get another heart in time. Sammy came into money a few years before her death. We had always talked about that going towards our kids' college expenses. When she realized it was unlikely she would live long enough to see them past kindergarten and first grade, she asked me how I would feel about her parents being in charge of the money. My family are not good people, and our concern was always if the money was left with me and something happened to me, my family would find a way to get their greedy paws on it. I'm not going to dive into that, but I'm going to tell you, I could have some statements.
Yeah.
They would have spent that money without a second thought for their grandchildren, niece and nephew, and in all likelihood would have left them with nothing. I said yes. Sammy's death came way too soon, but she was peaceful in the end. Our condolences. Yep. 4 years later, I met my current wife, Nat, and after a 2-year relationship, we got married. Nat has two girls who are 14 and 12. When Nat and I sat down to discuss finances, college funds, etc., I told her that Sammy had left our kids some money, never disclosing exactly how much, and just mentioned that we would not need to save for the kids' college. It was different with her girls. Her ex, their father, had stolen the money Nat saved for the girls, so we started saving together, but it was not a lot. When Delaney told me that she wanted to go to college and that she was strongly considering community college, I sat both her and Finn down and told them about the money. I told her it was not to pressure her, but if she wanted to go away for college, there was money available. Delaney chose to keep the money for a house in the future, and Finn mentioned he would likely do the same with his share. Smart kids. Yeah. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. Delaney mentioned it in front of Nat over the summer, and Nat was confused by her comment about buying a house. So she asked how much money it was, and she was furious when Delaney told her. She said I should have disclosed just how much the kids had access to. I asked her why. It was their money. It was nothing to do with her. She said I was too vague and I should trust her as my wife. This has been a tension between us since. Am I the asshole? Now, one thing I will say is whenever I read these, I always like to make my own formulated thoughts before I go read anybody else's. Mm. So, Sam, let's start with you. Is Lessie Mexi an asshole?
I don't think so. No. While, I mean, it was disclosed that money was there, but they're 100% right. It's not the new wife's business to know how much it is. And while sure that amount could come up, it doesn't really matter either way, in my opinion.
Correct.
Because that was from a totally different life for kids that while, they are responsible for, it's a totally separate thing for that. Yeah, I mean, and it's tough. I definitely condolences to that whole family for that. But, and to summarize, they are definitely not the asshole because, it's none of their business. And they shouldn't be mad about that. They should be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good amount of money. Sweet.
Yeah.
That's it,
So you're saying they're not the asshole?
They are not the asshole. No. I don't think we'll do our other three thing here in a little bit. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of the four. It's either they are, they're not, everyone is, everyone's not.
The new wife's the asshole.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the new wife's the asshole. And the reason why, and of course a lot of stories have, background more than what they are going to provide here. It's the internet, but we have to go on face value.
One side of it. But I mean, I don't see another side of this where I'd change my mind.
Correct. Well, and so here's looking back in this real quick. Here's where my thoughts formulate from that is the fact that he had spoken. He had spoken with his late wife about where they were going to put the money.
Yep.
Her parents and him are the ones in charge of it.
Yeah.
No one else. Mm-hmm. And that money it's not like he was purposefully, even throughout this entire thing, he wasn't purposefully keeping it from his current wife. It just wasn't something he'd ever thought to even bring up to her because it's not something that she's involved with.
And honestly, he wasn't really involved with it. They had made that agreement, and then the grandparents are technically taking care of it.
Correct.
And so, they basically are just holding the money until that time that the kids are old enough to actually do something.
He's not even getting a dime of this money.
No,
it's all going to the kids. And honestly, again, kudos to the kids for making that mindset of I'm just going to buy a house with it later. That's phenomenal.
That's smart. Hopefully, it's accruing some interest.
But, this last piece right here, let me see here. She said I should have disclosed just how much my kids had access to. I asked her why. It was their money. It was nothing to do with her. She said I was too vague and I should trust her as my wife. This has been a tension between us since. That's not distrusting.
No.
You should trust him in knowing that he made the right decision on a decision that he made with his former wife.
Mm-hmm.
That
was a totally different life. And if you had just asked a while ago that how much do they have, I'm sure he probably would have been it's this. You know? I don't think it would have been a point of contention.
Yeah.
Because who cares? They're not going to have access to that.
Yeah. He sat down with his kids too on this.
Yeah.
To have that conversation with them, not her. Keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, this guy's definitely not the asshole.
Yeah.
The wife's being the asshole.
Let's take a look at the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not the asshole.
Yeah.
I asked her why it was their money. It was nothing to do with her. End of story.
Yeah.
If anything, Nat should be happy that thanks to this inheritance, you could save money solely for her children's college fund. Imagine having to split it between four. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's a really
Good point. Let's see. The money did not originate with you. You have no access to the money. Your children with your late wife, absolutely zero to do with wife number 2 and children she brought with her into the marriage. Not the asshole. C 1 through 4. Exactly. Edit. Thanks for the award of us. Yeah, like exactly the point here. And I'm glad no one is saying that he is the asshole. He's not the asshole by any means here in my eyes. I'm curious if anybody said. Let's read this one. This is a nice juicy one. Not the asshole. Money does strange things to people. You are under no obligation whatsoever to provide a college education for your current wife's children, but you have taken the extra step to help save for that. The money your late wife left for her children belongs to them, 100%. Your current wife's demands that she should have known how much there was indicates to me that she would have insisted part of that money go to her children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a strong insinuation, and honestly, not much to say otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, and it wouldn't surprise me if that would happen, but like I think most people wouldn't make that insinuation or wouldn't ask for that because that's not fair to ask at all. But
yep.
Yeah, I hope that wouldn't be the case.
Yep. There will always be inequalities in step families. If her parents were to pass away and leave her children a large sum of money, would she offer to split that money between all of your combined children? Probably not. Mm-hmm. That's the thing is like when it comes down to money's a fickle thing regardless.
100%. Yeah.
But here's the truth of the matter is you hit the nail on the head. It is not her finances. Mm-mm. It's not money from her family. This is from a time when she wasn't even a thought.
No.
Like
I actually kind of have a personal connection to this, come to think of it, because so my stepsisters, their mother died when they were young, and there was a life insurance policy. They've got a chunk of change. I have no idea how much, nor do I care, nor do I want any of it, because that is their money from that previous life. Their mother gave to them in a very unfortunate situation. I don't want any bit with it at all. I don't even know if my mom knows how much, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's because that's their thing 100%. And so, we're not going to ask for that because that's for them to, either buy a house, save for college, like do whatever,
Yep. Let me close that for you. I just realized that.
Thanks.
Don't email that. No.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah. But no, like I completely agree. And like, I can think of many other situations I've been in, like, and I don't even, I mean, I'll be real with y'all. Like, I don't foresee me getting some sort of chunk of change from any side of my family, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that I can become wealthy enough to leave something to my kids in the inevitable, moment that I do ascend into whatever next plane there is.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I'm with my wife. It doesn't matter if I'm with my next wife. It doesn't matter who I'm with at the time. That is something I am doing in that moment with my kids.
Yeah.
And it's who I get to bring into that situation.
Yeah.
Granted, right now, yes, I'm married. So 100 times out of 100, I'm going to be bringing my wife into that.
Yeah.
Because that is a conversation with her that we're going to have about our future, our current child and future children, if that happens to be.
Yeah.
That's how we are just going to play it out. If I were to somehow get divorced and end up with somebody else, or God forbid she passes away, like in this situation here, those next people have no connection to what I'm doing.
No.
Period. Like that, I am in a new life. It's a new chapter. You aren't part of the old story. Period. So I hope that the tension that he was talking about here, like at the very end, like this has been a tension between us since. I don't know. He didn't really just say like when this happened or when this whole thing started, but I really hope the tension ends soon because the wife, the new wife, Nat, needs to like recognize and wise up real fast that like she's in the wrong here.
Yeah, 100%.
She's treating her husband like an asshole for no reason.
Yeah, there's no world where she needs to be upset about this. She just needs to fucking let it go at this point.
Yeah. On to the next.
Yep.
All right. Would you like to read this or would I?
Sure, I'll do it. Am I the asshole for uninviting my best man over a venue? My female 23 best man and male 24 recently. Wait, no, hang on. So the person writing this is female 23. Best man is male 24. Recently got engaged to his boyfriend, female 24. I'm very confused. Okay. And
I am so confused. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Best man engaged to his boyfriend. Wait. Yeah. Huh? Anyway, well, let's just say this. My best man recently got engaged to his boyfriend, and he has begun the long search for his ideal wedding venue. Me and my fiance have been engaged for around a year now, but I never really started to look into venues, as we actually already had one chosen due to my deceased great-grandmother telling me she'd love to see me be wed there. Despite being engaged for a shorter time than me and my partner, they plan to marry before us, which is something I'm completely fine with. I'm just pointing it out as it's important to my perspective and argument. Upon finding out the venue shut down, my fiance actually went and found out where my great-grandparents got married, which turned out to be still around and is still very similar to our original venue. Not only that, but it is a short drive away and had regular opening days for people planning to get married to see if the venue is to their liking or not. Me and my fiance decided to head down and invited a couple friends as well, one being the subject of the ask. He's usually really chatty, but after a few minutes of looking around the manor, he felt quiet and actually ended up wandering off before driving home early. At the time, I thought it was because I wouldn't let him bring his fiance to the open day, as we don't get along, but looking back now, I guess I was wrong to assume that. When we announced that we had chosen the manor to be our wedding location, he rang me in tears and ended up admitting that he had fallen in love with the location the second he walked in and was hoping we would decide against getting married there. He proceeded to ask if I would be okay with him using the location instead of me, and I said no. He got heated very fast and asked me why I wasn't willing to hand off the location to my best friend, to which I explained that I was not okay with handing it off to his fiance, as he had been nothing but horrible to me since we were kids, purely over my weight, and that was the only location left linked to my great-grandmother that I could get married in. He then asked if we could both use the location. I said no again, adding that I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about how we walked down the aisle I'll be walking down and slept in the suite I'll be sleeping in. He told me that if I didn't give him the okay, I'd be demoted from maid of honor to guest, and he'd only attend my wedding if his fiance was invited. Yikes. I told him that if he seriously wants me to invite the same guy who calls me a hog and squeals to me at my wedding, then I'd not only be revoking his role as best man, but uninviting him too. He said that he saw where my priorities were and that he'd be glad for me to do so. I'm worried that I am the asshole for not taking the offer to offer to both when it was easily doable, and for uninviting him over a request he made to feel better over being denied. Wow. That's a big one. Thoughts, opinions?
I'm going to just go outright and say it. Not the asshole. Simple as this. You had a close relationship with your great-grandmother.
Yeah.
Your great-grandmother had a one wish. You are trying to do everything you can to abide by said wish. That is fantastic in my eyes.
Yeah.
As far as anything else is concerned at this point, it's not your fault that he couldn't find a venue. It's not your fault that he couldn't, he's trying to basically ride off your coattails here, what it sounds like. It sounds like this whole friendship has been based on the fact that the poster has been kind of like the lead, and best friend's kind of been like that, like, the
following puppy.
The right hand, yeah. And all of a sudden now, because like okay, I think of it like this, and I'm gonna take a sip for a second here. To me, I think of it like this: we were best men for each other.
Yeah. You were also my officiant.
I was. I think of it in the sense, if you and I were still living in the same place when our marriages took place, right? Putting myself in this situation, if you had asked me, hey, I really love that venue. Would you be cool if I also went there? My initial instinct would also be to say no, I really like that venue. However, here's one piece of this puzzle I think we're missing. You, as a free thinking adult, could still go do it.
Like, still go to the wedding?
You could still, you could still go get this venue yourself too.
Yeah.
So my level of contention here is the best friend just wants to control everything. Because you could easily have gone to that same venue. You could have gotten married. A few weeks later, I go to the venue, I get married. I'd have been none the wiser, right? You get married, like, oh, cool, yeah, awesome. Okay, I'm still getting married here. Like, my family doesn't know where you got married. But the people attending my wedding don't know where you got married. So the only person who's really going to be worried about it is me. Why would I be worried about it? But also at the same time, if you gave your thoughts already and said, like, no, I'm not comfortable with that, like, I'd really like to have this as like my special place, like, I feel like.
Well, I think there's a factor you're missing in this.
What's that?
That's the fiance of the best friend. Because you remember, so part of it is the fact that the best friend's fiance is apparently a bully to the poster. And so, like, I think if that fiance was different and was totally fine.
Oh, your partner's a bully, huh? Go ahead. Man, I can't wait for the comments on that one.
Oh, God. I'm going to put headphones on to edit this one. I love you, sweetie. Anyway, so if it weren't an actual bully, then I think they would be totally fine sharing the venue.
True. Yeah,
like,
I didn't think about that.
In our scenario, like, we love each other's significant others. I don't think we would care. We would almost maybe even do a joint wedding.
Honestly, probably, yeah.
Honestly. But I don't think our wives would have gone for that. But, it would have been sick if we did. But anyway, so the fact, and so the big thing there.
You may kiss your partner. Bet.
This was our wedding all along. We had like a secret fucking marriage certificate and everything. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm in the doghouse tomorrow. But so the big thing here is, so it was like sleeping in the suite. Let me see if I can find it.
I remember what you're talking about. I couldn't.
Yeah, here it goes. It was, he then asked if we could both use the location. I said no again, adding that I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about how he walked down that aisle, down the aisle that I'll be walking down, and slept in the suite I'll be sleeping in. He told me that if I didn't give him that okay, it'd be demoted, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so now it's like you're using the same room, bed, and everything that the bully is.
I have the perfect example of this.
Okay.
It's not necessarily like detail for detail what this is, but I think back to last year, and I have no problem being public and discussing this. It's totally fine at this point, but I won't name drop. They know who they are, so it's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like last year when I now that I was not getting married last year, mind you, but it's a similar situation of you need to be able to have a genuine conversation, level-headed conversation with the individuals in your wedding.
Yeah.
Best friend here ain't doing that. Mm-mm. And I know that because I was on the receiving end of that. I feel for this poster here.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, weddings do bring out the worst in people at times. Mm. And last year, I got berated, degraded, destroyed verbally for how shitty of a person I am. And at the end of the day, they still dropped me from their wedding, but said, hey, you have an invite to come, though. Like, this best friend poster, first and foremost, you're not the asshole. I want that to be known. That's my vote here.
I agree with that.
Get a new best friend.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're having that doesn't sound like a healthy relationship.
As someone who has had to rip that Band-Aid off, it feels so much more freeing knowing you don't have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about if that individual is going to be hating you tomorrow morning or not.
Yeah.
Like, I think back to that moment often, and I think a sigh of relief going, I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry if that's something I'm going to have to, be met with the next day when I wake up. I think that in and of itself speaks volumes. Is you should be able, you should remove yourself from that situation, find a new best friend.
Yeah.
If this person, like I think to me and you have come to actual fist fights. Like we have gotten to points where we thought our friendship was over. And here we are 2 decades later, still kicking.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a friend, if your best friend isn't to that level, then they're not somebody who you're going to be keeping around anyways.
Yeah. Because you and I can have honest, genuine conversations.
Yeah.
Where we are 100% real with each other.
Yep.
Like, we don't sugarcoat shit.
Yep.
We just say, like, this is how you should be thinking about this, or, whatever.
We literally ask each other, more so me, but we literally ask each other like, hey, I need advice. And it's like, okay, I know if I say that I'm going to get raw, unfiltered advice of a sound mind who is seeing this from a perspective of like, okay, I know who you are, how you are, and what you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you if this is dumb or not.
Yeah. Based off of that, like this best friend should realize that they're marrying an asshole.
First of all, yes, they should realize that.
Yeah.
Number 2, they should realize the significance of the venue to their friend.
Finders fucking keepers. Hello. Like, I mean, they found the venue.
Yep.
Why should they have to hand it over?
Yeah.
Like, you're just there because you happen to be part of the wedding. You would have never fucking found that venue otherwise.
Yep.
So yeah, no, fuck off. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Or delay the wedding and do it after this one.
Yep.
That's another way to just keep the peace. But ultimately, this I think was the catalyst to change in these people's lives, because need a new best friend. And then hopefully the best friend and the fiance either have a nice happy life off together, or they realize that they're an asshole if they're going to be talking about somebody's weight like that.
Yeah.
And everything else. So,
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of deeper issues there, but no, I 100% agree. The poster is not the asshole at all. The best friend is the asshole. Nobody else is the asshole.
Yeah.
So,
I agree entirely.
And the fiance is the asshole. Yeah.
Let's see what the comments say. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching this so far. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube or listening on any listening sites. Make sure to go follow us on there as well. And also, if you're watching the video, drop us a like and share it to your friends who might want some lousy advice as well. If you have any at all lousy advice that you want from us, or any lousy ideas that you'd like us to cover, drop it in the actual comments down below, or send it to us at thelousypodcast@gmail.com. You can also email us there anytime with any ideas you have. Back to the show. You're the asshole? No shot, dude. Hold up. Hang on. You're the asshole. This is absolutely no reason why both couples can't use the same wedding venue. If he is such a good friend, why can't you and the fiance find a way to set aside your differences and at least be cordial to each other? Uninviting your best man is such a childish thing to do. But that's the thing, though.
No.
But that's the thing, though. Poster didn't uninvite them.
No.
The best friend said, I'm going to demote you. And they were like, all right, fuck you. I'm done with you. Like, that's this person didn't read the whole thing.
While I partially and that is a bit of an overreaction to to saying no to both, but I can understand that being basically a victim to bullying.
Yeah.
That like you wouldn't want to share the same literal probably bed that that they did before.
Yep.
Especially if you don't like that person.
I don't want them motherfuckers naked ass cheeks up on my sheets. What you mean?
They don't wash those sheets well enough.
No.
Yeah. I'm amazed that there's so many, even this one. So I was going to not the asshole until this. He then asked if we could both use the location. I said, no, again, you're the asshole. You don't decide where other people are doing their wedding.
But here's the thing. Hold on. It's getting hot. See, here's the problem I have with that statement there. You don't decide where other people are doing their wedding. Exactly. Yeah, not a problem. But here's the thing. Best friends still to this point should know that this place has a significance to the poster.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have asked to begin with. If it was so important to them, go on and set it up anyways.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Do and then ask for forgiveness. At that point, fine.
Yeah.
If they had done that and then poster had gone off and be like, oh my God, you're using my venue. Like, yeah, I could kind of see that. Like, okay, now you're just picking a fight.
Yeah.
But no. Hang on, you're the asshole. Mad and holding a grudge over childhood drama. On top of not being able to share the wedding venue with your friend that many other randoms have been probably
conceived, and that very sweet.
Yeah. He was even going to attend without his fiance to make you happy, but you uninvited him and probably ended multiple years of friendship or selfish behaviors. Or, and I go back to your statement here, or you're a victim of bullying and you're finally stepping up to the bully and saying, hey, look, best friend, you're with this person. I can't do this anymore. Best friends fighting over venue. Either you should be both feel ashamed or you're not BFFs.
You're realizing you're not BFFs at that point.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
Your best friend and best man started a relationship and is now engaged to a person that squeals like a hog at you and calls you a pig. Oh, hell no. Why haven't you demoted him all the way to persona non grata? Yeah, honestly.
Thank you, euthanasia. 63.
Oh, my God. This is Tang Slayer's brother. Yeah. We're building a family tree now. The uninvited already. Your best friend can legally rent any place he wants for his wedding. He doesn't need your permission, but you don't have to like it. Maybe if his intended wasn't such a wretched person, you might even be happy for him. Wow, and you can definitely tell him you will have nothing to do with it, not the asshole. Thank you.
Yeah.
If best friend's fiance could realize they're being an asshole and apologize for all of this and maybe try and build that bridge, I could see kind of going to the same thing you said of like, you and I, had we been living in the same place, probably would have somehow set up a joint wedding. We're just that close of friends. Yeah. Period. Not weird at all. We would have had a big old party. Weird,
but it would have been a big party.
We had a big party.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, best friend knows fiance's being an asshole, not do anything about it. Wants you to change because best friend wants this, doesn't care about what you want. Doesn't care about your well-being, doesn't care about what you want. Only cares about their wants and needs and
their aesthetic.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, they can easily find another great venue, so.
Oh my God. These people saying you're the asshole, y'all are, I disagree entirely.
100%.
That's just nuts to me.
Definitely let us know in the comments what you think on this one.
Yeah.
I see, like, it's a little childish, but like, I totally get it.
I don't even think it's childish.
A little bit, but just.
I think the childish part is not stepping up to your best friend and shutting them down before you got to this point.
Yeah.
You need to be able to put on your adult panties and do that moment of, hey, this is going to suck, but I got to rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Your fiance or your partner is not.
Everyone needs to put on their big kid pants and learn the art of communication, compromise, and boundary setting before walking down any aisles.
Next topic.
So like, I think a more appropriate response as a whole would have been everyone's the asshole, but I still personally think they're not the asshole.
I don't think the poster's the asshole.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, like, I can at least slightly more understand an everyone's the asshole situation here.
Correct.
But I don't think the poster themselves is the individual asshole.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, last one we have. I'm loving this, by the way.
Oh yeah,
this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments. Do you want to see us do more Am I the Asshole readings? All right, here we go. Am I the asshole for yelling at my future mother-in-law?
I'll start off with saying no. No, just kidding.
As someone who has a mother-in-law, just like we do, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't always agree with what they say, so this is going to be fun. Am I the asshole for yelling at my future mother-in-law? I, 25 female, have been working on a farm owned by my boyfriend's 25 male family for the last 5 years. Okay, so since you were 20. Over the years, while working there, I've grown pretty close with Elle's mother and younger sister. Okay. My parents had moved to another country, so I practically considered them like my second family of sorts. Until now, that is. The problem is that Elle's mother has gotten verbally abusive towards Elle over the last 2 years or so. Their relationship had been rocky from the start. However, lately, it's gotten worse. She screams at him, pours her frustrations upon him and upon her husband, who Elle is very similar to appearance-wise. She shames him, calls him names, and in front of other workers at that. This sounds like my mother. Elle rarely says anything back, just pulls back from the situation because he's tired of, he's tried being confrontational and mature and whatnot, and even then it'd be the wrong thing to do. Brother, I feel you. Okay, let's keep going. I basically he can't win. The constant verbal abuse has made him spiral, but luckily he has been seeing a therapist because of bad relationship that he has with his mother. This is a triggering moment for me. I'm living through this post. Oh my God.
You picked these, just for the record. He picked them. I did not.
Oh no. Okay, I didn't read this one. That's the problem. Okay, anyways, continue. Anyway, a week ago, future mother-in-law had been starting up one of her one-sided screaming matches with Elle for a tiny mistake he did during work. Keep in mind that both me and the younger sister make far worse mistakes at times, and her reaction is not nearly as bad, and she would just not stop. It went on for around 3 to 4 hours.
Hours. Good Lord.
Like I always do as of late, I tried to step in and remind future mother-in-law that there are other workers nearby. They had confided to me and about how badly she's acting towards Elle and why are we still even still working here, etc. And that she can't talk to her son like that, but she paid me no mind. To keep things short, I got fed up and got emotional and screamed at her to stop already. That we all do mistakes during the job and that his was no big deal and that she can't keep doing this whenever she's tired or frustrated like she does with her husband. Future mother-in-law has been holding a grudge, even if I've since apologized for my tone, but not for what I said. So ever since that day, my relationship both with her and the younger sister has deteriorated drastically. Man, this is... Oh my God. This is okay. We barely talk unless they're trying to act petty and are completely disregarding mine and Elle's feelings. When I've tried being direct and have tried talking it out, they just brush me off and act clueless. I've endured most of it, but today I've gotten into an argument with the younger sister and I've simply lost my temper after all the stuff that's happened. So I picked up my stuff, sat in the car, and drove off. Called future mother-in-law and told her that I'm done with all their games and that I'm quitting. It's been a couple of hours since then, and while I don't exactly regret it, I am nervous as to what my future holds for me now. I loved my job, and I feel like I did the right thing by standing up for Elle more firmly than I did before. He's thinking about leaving the farm and leaving his family behind too. Still, am I the asshole?
That's scary accurate.
Now I have to question to myself, do I want to go down this rabbit hole today on this very episode of our show?
I mean, you don't have to go down the whole rabbit hole, but you can at least speak to this.
I
well.
not only can speak to this, I can harmonize to it. I can dance to this tune. I've lived it. Not exactly the farm aspect, not part of it, but the family. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the question is, am I the asshole for yelling at my future mother-in-law? What do you think?
Mother-in-law is being an absolute bitch, yelling at mostly her son. So that's unfortunate. And I can understand, if somebody's being mean towards your significant other, you want to stand up for them. So yeah, I mean, if they've been doing that for years, and then you're finally just now kind of getting fed up with it, I get it. I mean, there might have been a more appropriate way to address it, and maybe wait for a time that she wasn't actively screaming. But from what it sounds like, I don't think that would have mattered too much. If it sounds like the mother-in-law is as unhinged as she seems. It is unfortunate the sister kind of got dragged into that. But I mean, that's a tough spot for the sister. So yeah, I'm going to say not the asshole. I don't you're standing up for your significant other. Sure, it probably could have been handled a little bit differently, but that pales in comparison to how the mother-in-law was behaving that whole time.
I will say this. I feel like I am L 100% here.
Yeah.
This family dynamic is exactly what I grew up around. And I hate to say it, but anybody who comments down below, oh, you should always respect your elders, respect your mother, kick rocks.
Only goes to a certain level.
Yep.
Like there's like, your slightly colorful language stuff that you can respect. And then there's being an outright asshole and being an unhinged, manipulative person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who lived through this for years, I can tell you right now, no matter of talking, no amount of talking, no amount of yelling, no amount of conversation, no amount of confrontation will change them. Just doesn't work. What does work is leaving.
Yeah.
What does work is cutting off that communication. Cut the snake off at the head. I know this because I lived it. I'm going to say this. There are much more mature ways to go about handling this. Emotions, when they rise, they make you do dumb things. I'm going to go out and say, because there's only two parties here, it's her and the mother-in-law. Everyone's the asshole.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I think of it from the perspective of my wife. If my wife had done that to my mother, right? Not that I would be mad at her for doing that, because I would agree with everything she's saying.
Yeah.
If my wife had done that to my mother, then I wouldn't see that as support. It would be, we are adding kerosene to the fire,
Yeah.
and that's just not gonna end well. You're not gonna find an ending that's gonna really make a difference there.
Is there a way that this ends well?
Correct.
Is the ultimate question, though.
Yeah. And the answer to that question is no. When it comes down to that, it's no. It's that the individual in question, who's the mother-in-law, does not know that she's doing wrong. In her mind, she's not doing wrong.
No.
In her mind, she's living as a parent, as albeit as toxic as she is. She thinks she's doing everything correctly. That could be because of her parents, teaching or what have you. Who knows? But I don't think her allowing her emotions to build as much as to yell would have been the smart move.
No.
Because now what you've done is you have effectively dumped that kerosene on the fire and then went, I'm out, and left.
Yeah.
Now you're keeping contact with L.
Yeah. Yeah. Continue. I'm checking on something.
Yeah. You're keeping contact with L. You know that he's also thinking about leaving as well. But he's still got to deal with the repercussions of what just happened.
Yeah.
Until he gets out of there. Who's to say he doesn't get out of there? You as an adult have to be able to discern between, in this moment, are my emotions, as radical as they may seem, going to help the situation or hinder the situation?
Yeah.
That's something that I have to do daily. That's why I don't talk to half the people I used to talk to anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I don't talk to my family anymore. I don't speak to my sister. I don't speak to my mother. I don't speak to anybody on that side of the family. I don't care. They could be listening to this right now. I don't give two shits less. You know why? Because my emotions are not going to help the situation.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, emotions are only going to hinder it. You have to be smart. You have to be logical in that moment. You have to take a step back and go, okay, give myself a breather. How can I approach this? Okay, I need to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Let me go tell Elle real quick, hey, look, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I want you to come with me. Let's go find a life together. We love each other. We know we're going to be with together. Like, we're in this together. Cool. Make it like the movies. Who cares? But get out of there.
Yeah.
Don't allow yourself to fall trap, because that is a trap. The mother-in-law has now trapped you.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be able to use that against you in a future argument. Oh, well, you spoke to me like this. You know how I know that? Because that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to say this. I remember a situation, And trigger warning for anybody out there who's gone through parental abuse. I'm with you. I remember this specifically. This was Thanksgiving, or around Thanksgiving, I should say. My wife and I, this was after my son was born. My wife and I went to, actually, was it? It was either right before or right after, one of the two. We went to my mother's, and one of the big things we always did was, I mean, you probably remember, we always played board games.
Yeah.
Board games was a big thing in that family. I remember we like the night had gone on. A couple people had retreated upstairs to just kind of like talk for a second before everyone was heading home. I'm sitting on the far side of the dining room table away from everyone. And I remember this very vividly. I was on my phone. I was responding to something dealing with actually something else I was doing at the time. I think I was talking to some clients, if I'm not mistaken, before I was cutting hair. So I was responding actively to something. And my mother starts from the other side of the room, starts talking to me. And in my brain, I recognize, it's like, okay, she's talking to me. From the keywords I'm hearing, it's not something important. I'll get to her in a second. And so I'm still responding. And then she starts talking. It's like, give me a second. I gotta do this. And then she starts talking. And I remember she goes, she gets louder with me and she says, why don't you put that fucking phone down and talk to me? Why don't you put that fucking phone down and talk to me, asshole? And I was like, and I'm still responding because I'm like, I'm not even going to engage with that.
Yeah.
And she goes, "What? Yeah, why don't you listen to me? Listen to me. Do it." And I was like, no. And I'm back to responding because this is more important at this time.
Yeah.
And I've already addressed, hey, I'm going to respond. And she goes, oh, you're going to get loud with me? You're going to get loud with me? Walks around the table, gets in front of me and says, hit me. Do it. Hit me. Go ahead. Like, escalates it.
The fuck?
Yeah. And at this point, I'm like, excuse me? And I remember my emotions got the best of me. Everyone upstairs heard clearly what I said.
Yeah.
I got so loud, I said, get the fuck out of my face. I'm not doing this with you. And she wouldn't move. I'm trapped. Where I was sitting behind me, like, or to my side, was basically like this big hutch.
Yeah.
And there was no room to get around. So I had to go this way. I had to go through her to get out. And she's blocking the way. She's like, hit me, do it. You know you want to, hit me. And I'm like, no. Like, but thankfully, she heard me. She comes down the steps. She goes, it's time to go. And I was like, yeah, you're exactly right. And I remember that to this day because anytime I've talked to people who have dealt with parental, abuse, I resonate with that. I get it. Like, I understand. I don't talk to my mother at all.
Yeah.
This right here, it's in that moment. You can't let your emotions get the best of you.
Yeah.
I know it sucks. It's so fucking difficult. You've known me for 2 decades at this point. You know how much of a hothead I used to be. I'm much more leveled out now.
Yeah.
But there are times when that hothead's going to flare right back up, and I just can't let it happen.
No.
You can't let it happen. You have to be able to take a step back and reassess the situation.
Yeah. And I get that. But I mean, nobody's perfect. So
Nope, and again,
and here's where I'm going back to where I'm still going to stick by not the asshole, because they did go back and apologize, not necessarily for what they said, but for the tone in which they did. Because like, you can have a genuine conversation with the same content of that conversation. And so now I don't think that was going to help anything, but she at least did the right thing and like the right thing in this situation and apologize. So I mean, so that's why I'm not saying it's in everyone that is, it's borderline, but like, it's for me, it's still not the asshole.
Yeah,
you know.
I could agree with you on that. I would stay tiptoed on the other side of the fence though, if everyone's the asshole, because again, with someone like that, and clearly throughout this entire thing, they recognize that this individual, the mother-in-law, has been like this for a long time.
Yeah.
So they knew that.
Well, it wasn't like it's not like yours where it's basically been since the beginning. Like they said, it was, everything. They had a good relationship, and then for the last 2 years or so.
But that's 2 years.
Which, but in the grand scheme of things, it's small. Like, that's
fair.
Less than 10%. So.
I would say in this event, like because it's been that long.
Yeah.
Because it's been those 2 years of them trying to figure out like what that next move looks like and like how to navigate her. There's no excuse for how the mother's acting, period. I want that to be known now. No excuse at all. I will never give any excuse to anybody's parents for acting that way because it's there. No. You should just never should act like that. But you still have to be able to navigate those situations.
Yeah.
And I mean, make no mistake, I would personally love to tell all those abusive parents out there to fucking just beep 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 beep.
Sorry, we're getting a message in from the
right? Yeah. But insert your thoughts here.
Yeah.
But I'll just say get bent.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fuel's on the fire.
Yeah.
The fuel's on the fire now. Like you can't dump fuel on the fire and then go try and be like, oh my God, oh, pour it out. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
And they make fire extinguishers.
I mean, well,
so and I'm sorry.
Of course, then hit her with one. Yeah. And that's lousy advice. But no, I do say this before I look at the comments. Like, if you are dealing with parental abuse at all, if your parents, especially if you're an adult, and you think your parents are, or you know your parents are just being straight up abusive,
yeah,
like get out. Get out. Like, life's better.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. Let's see what they say. Not the asshole. You guys can only put up with so much. That's called a power trip. She needs help. Good luck. Sounds like away from the farm you go. That's fair. You're definitely not the asshole. Everyone has their breaking point. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. This is a big one. Okay. Not the asshole. Your future mother-in-law sounds like a relentless witch. Everyone has a breaking point. Some people are bullies who don't let up until they push everyone around them to that point. In some sick way, it sounds like this is what your future mother-in-law wanted. But now that it has hit the fan, continue to dwell on her flaws as a person might become counterproductive really quickly. Focus on getting yourselves established in your marriage and in new careers. Then get into couples therapy to help propel forward with the healing process.
Yep.
That's smart.
Very smart.
And try to strengthen your ties with your future father-in-law. It wouldn't surprise me if your future mother-in-law has turned him into an invisible man, a mouse of a man. Yeah, but if he's a peaceful person to interact with, and encouraging the bond might help ensure that you and your boyfriend maintain at least some reasonable ties to his family in the long run. By the way, I'm saying all of this under the presumption you really are going to marry your boyfriend at some point. If he's not your fiance and you're just dating with no definitive plans for marriage, then it probably is not worth getting involved into his family beef.
That's very true too. Honestly, yeah.
Yep. And then also at the bottom, not the asshole, but you and Elle need to quit the family business and get jobs elsewhere. This won't ever get better. Facts.
Yeah.
And again, I want to say I'm tiptoeing on that line of not the asshole.
Yeah.
From everyone's the asshole. I just think that I'm looking at this through the lens of someone who's lived this.
Yeah.
You know, and that is definitely an extra layer than most people would get to look through. Mm-hmm. I would say from just a blind eye, yeah, definitely not the asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you did what you could, you tried to get out of there, and now you're just trying to, make peace. I get that. And that's why I'm on the line, because I feel like an asshole when I get to that point, because I hate feeling like that.
Yeah, nobody wants to yell, especially at their family, you know, or future family, either way. So yeah, it's a super unfortunate situation. I hope they are able to get past it and find a good life.
I agree. Yeah. And of course, let us know what you think down in the comments on any of these, or if you have an Am I the Asshole segment you would like us to respond to, drop that in the comments below. You could drop a link or just, type one out, and we'll decide definitively what we think. Mm-hmm. But it's time to go.
Sir.
This was fun.
It's time to say goodbye.
Part of me wishes I had read that beforehand, so I knew how triggering that was going to be. That sucked.
Yeah.
But hey,
you did good. It's good to get it out and talk it out. So,
this is a very eye-opening episode for anybody watching. So enjoy. But if you are listening to us on any listening sites, make sure to hit that follow button. We appreciate it. Download the episode if you could. That also helps us out tremendously as well in letting other people find us, and it lets the algorithm know to push the show to other folks out there who might want to listen to some lousy advice. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, of course, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when we upload. We do upload every week on Tuesdays.
Yep.
So
Tuesdays.
But yes, down below, like I said in the comments, let us know what you think about today's episode. If there's any Am I the Asshole segments you want us to check out, or if you think that one of these we were just completely wrong on, let us know. And if you have no thoughts at all, drop an emoji down below. Again, subscribe button's over behind me. A video right behind me as well, showing that it might be a video YouTube thinks you like.
Yeah.
So check it out. Probably. But we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Later.